you want me? Right here?
Right there. It's perfect.
All right.
Just don't touch it.
Don't touch it. Gut check.
Oh. Artificial turf floor is yours, Coach. Take it away.
Check. Yeah. All right. Well, we're day 2 for us, so we got started Sunday. It's been a blur since the championship game, that's for sure. Just because literally went right out on the road and had a crazy week last week. Our guys had a chance to be off last week, finish classes. It's been a while since we've had a schedule like this because finals have been pushed back a week, recruiting went back a week, and so this is like old school week, bowl prep, where we meet, practice, and then we go recruit, and then we come back, meet, practice, go recruit, come back. So we haven't done that in a while. Normally when we've had this week, it's been dead period, and so it's really just been almost like camp. So our guys are in finals, so we're having to meet and practice around finals and be very strategic with our time. Plus we got to recruit, but it's been good. Yesterday we started Sunday, and then yesterday was really just all of us, a whole staff day. We really didn't recruit, just full staff day, kind of get our arms around everything at a player meeting, and then they kind of got going into their finals. And then today and tomorrow is a combination of meet, finals, practice, recruit, you name it. And then Thursday is kind of a heavy final day, be all recruiting, and then we'll be done and pretty much all ball Friday, Saturday, with maybe some guys going out Friday night to see some basketball game stuff. So busy week, busy time to get to the dead period, and we'll break out of Clemson next week. Got a bunch of guys that are already graduates, a bunch of guys that are graduating next week. We got a graduation ceremony on the 21st, graduation on the 22nd. We will arrive in Miami on Christmas Day. That'll be kind of, when we kind of have our first team meeting once we break, and then try to have a normal week. Basically, Christmas Day will be like a Monday for us, and then try to have a normal week of prep down there. But it's been busy, but it's been really fun. I'm excited about the opportunity that we have. I'm proud of our team. 10-2 regular season, a good year, really good year, and 11-2 and ACC champs, a great year. And we got a chance to be 12-2 and have a special year. So that's really what we're trying to do, is accomplish this last goal. And if we do that, it would be a special year. But a lot of work to do between now and then, on and off the field. So excited about getting back going with some practice shells today, full pads tomorrow. We'll get a lot of the heavy lifting done this week, and then kind of taper it down and really try to get the plan done before we get down to Miami. And then, when you get down there, it's really busy. You try to just polish. So excited about that. And then everybody's here, player-wise. The only one that is going to go ahead and go pro is Miles Murphy. I think y'all know that already. Does he put that out? I'm not sure if he's the only one not here, but he's gonna turn pro, and excited for his opportunity. He's gonna be a great pro, and certainly appreciate everything he did here, and wish him well. But everybody else is here and ready to roll. Got a few guys in yellow today that a couple of them just sick, and another one coming off a little minor procedure. Get back here in a couple days, so in a good spot there. Guys are excited and ready to roll. And obviously everybody heard the news about Coach Mike Leach, and offer our condolences and our prayers to his family, especially his wife. I only had an opportunity to be around him on a couple of occasions. He was on a couple, and he was at Nike school a couple of times, and he was on a couple of the Nike trips with other coaches, and that was really when I had the most opportunity to be around him. Just like you would perceive him, hilarious, great, just a great perspective. And, again, a guy that I haven't spent a lot of time with outside of maybe a social setting, but have always admired. I know a lot of people who know him and have worked with him. And just a guy I've always respected because he's one of the great innovators of the game, and one of those guys that believed in how he did things and really didn't really worry about what everybody else thought. He was kind of a pioneer in the way he believed things should be done, and didn't really waver from that. But you know, just college football and football in general, and we'll miss him. And I know he had an impact on a lot of people's lives, so really just want to lift up his family.
Coach, I guess with DJ and Wiles out, you're down to the 2 Hunters as backups. How will you kind of divide up the reps there?
Yeah, glad we got Hunter. You know, glad he came on board. He'll be our 2, and you know, he's been the 3 all year. And he'll just move up to 2, and Hunter will be the 3, and then we'll get Trent Pierman a little bit more work. He's done a really good job on our scout team all year. Back-to-back Gatorade Player of the Year. I mean, this is a kid that's got some ability, and so he'll get maybe a little bit of work, but so that's what we got.
Did DJ's decision surprise you at all?
No. The only thing, I mean, you know, it's just it's a product of, it's a consequence of the rules the way they are right now. Because he really didn't want to leave. I mean, I knew he was leaving, whether he was going to go pro or whatever. He really, you know, wanted to go pro, and I think he's just come to the conclusion that he really needs another year. He's got his degree. He's graduating next week. You know, he's so I knew he was going one way or the other, but he really wanted to finish. He really wanted to play. He wanted to be there with his team. He wanted to be, but the way the rules are set up, it doesn't really allow you to do that because you've got a very little small window here where he's got to figure out what he's going to do. So this kind of is what it is. But you know, thankful for DJ and you know, love him and appreciate him. I mean, you know, he's a graduate in 3 years. He's been one of the greatest kids that have come through here, one of the most respected players and leaders. And I mean, just, you know, could be back for the banquet and all that stuff. But I mean, he's a graduate of Clemson. And he's a 2-time ACC champion. And honestly, we probably don't win the division his freshman year without him. You know, stepping in for us and, against BC. And we definitely don't get to Charlotte this year without him. And so I'm thankful for him. He's been a great ambassador for Clemson, and you know, just know he's going to do great things. He's got a lot of great football in front of him, and then really obviously proud of Cade and how he stepped in and how he's grown and developed, and he's had a front row seat to really see the good and the bad of what it's like to be a quarterback at this level, and so. Excited to see him have his opportunity to get his first start on the big stage and compete against a really good team.
I know you haven't been around the guys all that much since the championship game. How do you think they'd handle the transition? Because, you know, DJ was such a leader, such a beloved guy among this.
Oh, great. I mean, we just getting going Sunday. They had last week. They all knew. I mean, you know, they handled it during the game. You know, everybody handled it during the game. So it's, you know, these guys are all competitors and they all understand the game. You know, and Cade's an easy guy. It's not like he's some hard personality. He's an easy guy to get behind.
Dabo Simpson definitely playing.
Oh, Trenton's here, but he's hurt. Trenton's not going to be able to play, but it's not because he's not here or on pro or all that stuff. But he can't play. He'll probably be ready in about 3 weeks, but that's probably going to be right about kickoff time or right after. So he you know, he missed the game. He was battling the ankle, and then he re-injured it in the championship game. I assume y'all saw him come out of the game. I didn't think he was going back in, to be honest with you, but he next thing I know, he's over there tapping me on the shoulder saying, "Coach, I got to go." And they rubbed some dirt on it, taped it up, and he finished. And man, I got a great appreciation for Trenton for that. You know, it's been real easy for him to kind of stay on that sideline. And fortunately, he's not going to have surgery. We thought he might have to have tightrope, but they don't think he's going to have surgery. But it's probably about 3 weeks before he's going to be, you know, ready to play. And but he's here with us and all that stuff. And that's another guy that's not going to be available.
What do you want to see from Cade over the next
week? I know what he's doing. I don't know. Has he put anything out on what he's doing, one way or the other? Trenton?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, I'll let him do that. So I don't. I know what he's going to do, but I'll let him do that.
What do you want to see out of Cade the next 3 weeks? And does anything change when he goes from the backup role to the starting role?
A lot changes. light gets a lot brighter, and everybody's going to be rooting for the backup. You know, so your mistakes get magnified. You know, if you don't comb your hair right on that day, it gets magnified. Scrutiny gets a lot greater. And that just comes with it. But obviously, I mean, we rep our two quarterbacks, equally. So he's always got, but now he's repping with all the ones. He's always gotten some of those, but now he's getting all the ones, and he has to lead now, from out front, as opposed to, not that he's not leading, but he's the guy, and so there's a lot that comes with that. But this kid's been doing this a long time. He's well prepared and ready and excited to have this opportunity.
Dabo, what was the conversation like with Miles, and was that a decision you expected from him?
Easy conversation. I mean, he I think contemplated things, whether or not he was going to come back or go pro or whatever, and then whether or not he was going to play in the game. I think all of those things weighed heavily on him. He didn't make a decision on a whim. That's not who he is. He's a very get to know Miles is a very deep guy, and he's got a great family and a lot of support around him. And so he really took his time to think through it. We gave him all the information, and that's what we do. And then make a decision and split decision and keep moving. But I'm not surprised. I mean, he's a great player, and I think will be a pretty high draft pick. And I think he's going to test well and work out well and meet well and all those things, and be a great player for a long time.
With players all over the country opting out of bowl games and aren't playoff games, you kind of have to convince your guys that these are just not exhibition games, or these bowl games still mean something. At least maybe this generation doesn't appreciate what the Orange Bowl used to mean. Do you have to convince them the Orange Bowl was something special?
Well, I mean, I think that there's a part of that. I mean, we didn't have anybody opt out last year, and we've got one this year. So I think this is the first time we've ever had a guy opt out since maybe in 20 years since I've been at Clemson. And I don't remember anybody not playing. And so, I mean, I don't really have to, I haven't had to do a lot of convincing. These guys are all out here, and they all want to play. They're all excited about, going to the bowl game. And honestly, these are the experiences that when it's all said and done, that they're going to remember and cherish. These times, these moments. But it is the culture's different. Things have changed, society's changed. So it's, I think, more guys are not playing for whatever reason. But I know here, I mean, even just since I've been here, I know Gaines Adams played. I remember him playing. I remember just him since I've been the head coach. I mean, these games are important. I mean, 2009, C.J. Spiller. I mean, Music City Bowl. I think he probably went from maybe a teens pick to the 9th pick. Coldest game in the history of Clemson football, and he was the MVP. The Bills are probably up there going, okay, I like him a little bit more now, right? And was he 10, Daquan, the Bronco Nagurski winner, up there, we were a 6-win team. He finished these guys. I remember who we had at 11. We had him at 11. 12 was Nuke Hopkins. Right? Y'all think Nuke Hopkins is a first rounder without that dominant performance he had against LSU? Probably not. 2013 was Sammy Watkins. He was a surefire first rounder. I don't know that he was the 4th pick in the draft until after the Orange Bowl. I think he had about 16 catches, and the game was pretty important. And 2014, the Russell Athletic was Vic Beasley and Stephon Anthony, 2 first rounders. And so, I mean, it's to each his own. I think certainly as a coach, you always want your best players to. At the end of the day, you just want to know who's ready to play and who's all in, and get ready to go play. But you don't really spend any time worrying about it. But I do think that at least here, this game's been important to a lot of people. Guys have always chosen to play. But, if they don't, no big deal. Let's get the guys that are ready to play, and let's go play.
What do you see from Jeremiah Trotter this year? He goes from kind of a behind-the-scenes guy a little bit last year, and this year he earned second-team All-American.
Tough sledding in the ACC, isn't it?
Yeah.
Guy can't make All-ACC, man, and he can make All-American. It's tough sledding. make all conference as a Clemson Tiger. I can't figure that one out. But he's just a baller. I mean, he's an incredibly instinctive player. He's exactly what we thought he'd be in the recruiting process. I mean, obviously he's grown up around the game his whole life, and he got a chance to really learn last year behind two great ones in Skowski and Balin, and he's put the work in. He's incredibly focused. He's not a distracted kid. He's about his business all the time. He handles himself. He acts like a pro. I mean, he's one of them guys you tell people, you want to be a pro? Well, how about act like one? How about think like one? How about work like one? How about prepare like one? Study like one? Like make sure what your actions and your habits align with what you want. He's the epitome of that. He knows exactly what he wants. His actions, his habits align exactly with what he wants. And so he's on his way. And it was good to see him have the type of year. These last, 5 games or so? I mean, he was as good as a player as it was on the field and in the game. And it really gives him a lot of momentum and sets him up, going into next year to be exactly the type of person. And the biggest thing, I mean, you see it in the production on the field, but it's who he's becoming as the quarterback, as the leader. He and Barrett, two special guys. Yeah. Woodaz moves up. Yeah. I mean, you just give them the information, NFL-wise and all that stuff, and then, talk through whether you want to play or not. And again, every coach wants your best players. I mean, you certainly wish you had all your best players, but again, you understand it, you get it, you respect it. You don't have to. You can agree to disagree and still love each other, right? And so I just gave him my thoughts, and it's his decision. It's not my decision. So his decision. High five him, love him up, see you at the banquet. Let's give it. We got to go get ready to play.
Take a couple more for Coach.
Coach, with signing day next week, seems like the hay's pretty much in the barn, as is usually the case.
Yep. Yeah. He's pretty much in the barn. Got maybe the door's cracked a little bit. Maybe we can stuff a little bit more in there. But today, in our world now, right? It's every day in college football from a roster management. Every day is a new day when it comes to roster management. So there is no. Today we're in a really good spot. Tomorrow may be different. I don't know. That's just the reality of college football. But this is going to be a really special class on top of last year's class. I really like the group that's coming in here. I think we've addressed our needs, and it's going to be fun.
You see where I don't remember the school, but one school I saw a tweet that the coaching staff is going to have in-home visits with the current players to try to re-recruit the current players to stay.
Yeah.
Do you envision that happening?
Well, I can believe that's happening, but I think if you're having to do that at this point after the season, he's probably out of the barn, or the train's left the station. Maybe that's a better way to say it. I think that just goes to your daily approach and how you do things day in and day out. I think if you got to all of a sudden recruit them at the end of the year, it's probably a little too late. Probably should have done that along the way. I mean, that's just. Am I surprised? No. I mean, we've got a lot of places that are new and just getting going as coaching staffs and things like that. There's a lot going on out there in college football. It's crazy. It's crazy. It is crazy. And a lot of young people aren't going to have a place to go, which is the sad part, but that's the way it is. Just keep going. I'm just worried about Clemson. And we're in a good situation here.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Okay,
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
We'll have about 5 periods for y'all to